Actually, Shichan and I were planning on going shopping today. It's our last chance to pick up some souvenirs. Souvenirs, huh? I almost forgot that I was on vacation. I understand what you're saying. Teaching doesn't seem so easy. Daki asked me to teach him how to sign, and I was unbelievably lost the whole time. Well, I wonder how it'll work out for you when you become a sign language teacher. You can't get tired too easily doing that. Yeah, right. I hope not. I like her haircut. It's kind of nice. I'm missing the drills, though. Hichan, now I'm kind of worried, but souvenirs. So, some other time, Hichan. Ha 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 ha. Do you want us to get you something, too? Just because I understand doesn't mean I don't want her to teach me. I suppose I can't press her any further now, though. Even I'm bothered by how selfish it would seem to do so. I give up. Ooh, and I have 40 minutes. No, don't get me anything. I'm serious. Don't surprise me with a funny shirt or something, okay? Hehehehehe. I don't like the sound of that. Slipping on her shoes, she yells goodbye to the otherwise empty house and opens the door to leave, letting a cool breath of fresh air into the hall. A tuft of dark hair peeking from the door frame tells me Shizune is waiting for her outside. Good morning. Misha translate for me from beyond the doorframe, and Shizune turns around to give me a small wave. Even though it's different from her usual offhand greeting, in the smallest ways, there's an unmistakable hesitation there. It leaves me feeling with a vaguely empty hand distant feeling. I don't know why she's ignoring me. She was fine with it the other night. Hey Chan, you're up early. Am I interrupting a conversation? I was trying to get Misha to teach me how to talk to you, but I guess I was being impatient and it can wait. You two were planning on going shopping today anyway. Having Misha there, I forgot to sign my words as I say them. Unfortunately, since Shizune moved to fill the doorway, Misha is behind her. This brief misalignment in our positions means that I'm saying is totally lost on her. I don't understand you at all. These are things I want to say that I can't put in a way she would understand. The entire conversation that she could have that would be right over my head. I wanted to tell her now that it won't be that way for much longer. Instead, I just say never mind and tell them have a good time, then wave them off. It seems like everyone is out for the day, so I sit down on the biggest and most comfortable looking chair in the living room with a book. Not a sign language book, but one of the novels I checked out of the library my first week. That was so long ago. I should really start chipping at that pile of books I borrowed, or at least return them. 16 pages in, Jigoro walks in the room, a stack of papers in one hand, his sword twirling idly like a baton in the other, casually shaking water from a recent shower from his hair. Great, he's gonna be a dick about reading. Upon being seen doing something so ungentlemanly, he freezes like a deer in headlights and slowly moves on, smoldering with powerful but baseless fury as he sits down on the couch a few feet away. That is only the third time I've met him, and I'm already starting to feel nauseous on reaction. I guess, in a way, this could be considered a kind of charisma. I haven't even said anything. He already seems less than pleased. It's likely a bad idea to provoke him, and just talking to him count as provoking him. However, I can't help thinking of the alternative situations that could play out. I just keep reading. Let's say I don't open my mouth at all and walk away. Maybe to go read in my room or outside. That would be definitely to go down an unforgivable insult. He would probably tell me to hold it and destroy me. Either way, not to play on my part. What are you reading? The draft for my autobiography is a story of a man who wakes up to find an uninvited guest in his living room, sitting in his chair and reading shallow literacy dreck. I barely started reading the book. I don't even have an opinion on it yet. I can already see this is how the conversation is going to play out, so I might as well try to steer it into a different direction. Where's Hidaki? You even ask questions rudely. Disgraceful. That aside, why would you even ask me such a stupid question? How would I know? Am I my son's keeper? Well, you are his dad, and it seems like he does live here, but I guess I can't say that, tempting as it is. I give up. I already tried to make small talk with him and failed. It's like trying to talk to a brick that also hates you. That is my cue to leave and sift through my wallet to see if I have enough money to go to a movie. I was about to stand, I have a second thought. I'm too tired to go through trying to smooth over my problematic situations by trying to continuously walk away from them. It's hypocritical of me to get upset at me for trying to defer things when I even run from my own girlfriend. When Jigoro attempts to stop me, I'm almost glad, even though I no longer have any intention to leave. Wait. He says it with plenty of authority, but nothing else. As if just a particularly commanding afterthought. Only a very powerful or very arrogant man can tell someone to hold on in such a matter. I'm sort of impressed. You're in the student council with Shizune, aren't you? What is your job there? I don't think there are specific roles other than president. Shizune is always trying to round people up to help her out here and there. Usually we might get like one person to pitch in, but otherwise the three of us do whatever needs to be done. It crossed my mind a couple times around when I first met her that Shizune's disquietly analytical stare might be because of her deafness, but it turns out it's a trait shared by everyone else in her family. And that's okay with you? Why wouldn't it be? You, Shizune, and that pink-haired girl. Is that really your entire student council? With a student council that small, they wouldn't even bother to hold elections. I'm going to take a guess and say that you didn't join student council. Shizune drafted you into it. You said you don't know exactly what your title is. That makes sense. I suppose if you weren't really even elected, you couldn't be expected to know. After all, if you are not elected, you aren't really in anything. No one's going to respect a student council like that, an unelected body of 3 people trying to scourge up an equivalent of temp workers. It must be a sorry school if 3 kids having a tea party can handle every issue. How small it is have to do with anything? If the student council gets things done, isn't that enough? It's not just a game either. Maybe you should actually come to the school one day. If you get there on the right days, you might even be able to see what Shizune is able to accomplish. You think that I have so much free time that I can afford to waltz over to your boondocks and watch my daughter feats of self-aggrandization? I have never been more disgusted in my life. What you're saying is they might as well not have student council, but the fact remains there is one. And Shizune got elected to it, and for her it isn't a meaningless position. In fact, she works very hard for it. You sound like someone who voted for her. No, I wasn't there for that. Ha! You didn't even vote for her. Well, besides that, why don't you ask Hidaki about this? Shizune has wanted to be a high school council student president since middle school. She would have him read all her practice speeches, wasting his time. For what reason? This whole time he hasn't even looked up from the thumbing through his manuscript. It's getting increasingly frustrating. Because it isn't a game. We don't run the school, but it's not like we're just playing at it and not taking it seriously. I wonder if it's so wrong not be a purist. I have been to your school. Really, the students there. Oh, hell no. I can already think of a million things he might say. I'm preparing for my heart to sink on hearing any of them. It's funny, they are probably things I've thought before. They don't even have cleaning duty. That was not what I expected at all. He's also wrong. They do. I should know. I get to skip out on it since I'm in the student council. The concept of being wrong confuses Jigoro. I should take this opportunity to go on the attack. It's really odd that I am thinking this way about a simple conversation. It sounds like the last time you were there was really some time ago. If you can leisurely write some memoirs, you can talk to Shizune now and then. Don't you think that she has stuff she is proud of? That's how young people are. We have things to be proud of. If you're writing an autobiography, you should get that. Such an opportunity, and I blew it. I don't know how I was expecting him to react. Maybe introspectively, but Jigoro only grows angrier by the second. Yet, as he does, he also seems calmer in a way, more sure of himself and in control. Who do you think you are? Assume my life is so easy. You haven't even read my biography yet. You are able to tell me how I should handle all my affairs, including dealing with my own daughter. You could never understand. Even if I were to get up from this couch, walk over to you right now, and punch you in the forehead with brass knuckles with the condensed edition of my life story on them, leaving my biography imprinted to your face, you would not understand. For 12 years, Shizune did not even talk to me, even though I hired multiple tutors and interpreters of all sorts for her to try and get her to become normal. It isn't as simple as you think it is. If she does not want to bother with me, then fine. I assume that is normal. When was the last time you talked to your parents? It has been a while, and I feel ashamed. More so that he caught me than on how easily I could have dropped my parents a phone call or sent them an email or even a letter, and haven't. This knowledge only makes me feel more ashamed. I thought so. If I wanted to see my parents, I couldn't. This is different. You aren't that far from her. It's like one trade right away. That is enough. No means no. You're very persistent. If only it was about something that mattered. I can't see what you may have learned from my daughter aside from that and how to backtalk people. Is that it? The answer is yes. I can't. I wasn't this persistent or argumentative before meeting Shizune and Misha. After all, prior to meeting them, I just experienced a small death. It's a mystery as to why I refused to join student council in the first place. Possibly it was my trying to get away from their nagging so much that I was able to get my energy back. It's a cute idea. I think again about why I'm still here. Arguing with Jigoro is pointless, yet I think I almost look forward to it. And he is right. I cannot understand him. Even if I did, he wouldn't care. I'm a louse that crawls on a whale. Wholly insignificant. He has a confidence that I don't have. Shizune does, and it could be that the reason why I'm here now in an almost shouting match with her father is because some of that bravery has rubbed off onto me. However, I don't have anything to keep it going. Still, I hate him. I don't know what I can do. A few months ago, I think I could have punched him and let the consequences play out as they may. But now I can't risk it. If he were to hit me back, he'd likely kill me. So in the end, the only thing I can do is look at Jigoro in silence, knowing that I have no reply and hate him, and feel completely at a loss. Oddly, he takes it as defiance. Fine then, have fun with that. Picking up his sword and using it to pull himself to his feet, he turns and casually saunters out of the room. I want to throw my book after him, but I'm happy to finally be alone, even if I'm not in the mood to read any longer. Oh, time skip. And 35 minutes. Wish I could just stay, but I cannot skip computer class again. Our return trip to the school keeps getting delayed in one way or another. Shizune and Misha come back so late that there's no use even leaving, and we end up staying another day. The morning after, we missed the train by a single minute, and then the next two don't arrive. We missed the fourth train because I wandered off to get a drink in the meantime. Shizune wasn't very happy about that. By the time I finally get back to my room, I feel so tired even though I spent most of the ride back sleeping. I can't say it's only because of today. This seems like a familiar symptom of traveling. It's not the first time it's happened. If no one has beaten me to it, I come to the thesis on it. Maybe get in a medical journal, returning from a trip syndrome. Not very creative. I fall asleep before I can think of a better name. A loud knock on my door wakes me up only a few hours into my nap. I'm annoyed because I just been in the middle of a dream that I can't remember having been woken up in the middle of it. But I'm sure it was a good one. I briefly wonder who it is, but it's not like I get many visitors, so I'm sure it's Kenji. It's probably Shizune or Misha. I hope he is just rolling out of the welcome wagon and not going to hit me up for money again. If that is the case, I'm almost touched. I'd be almost touched. Not touched enough to fight off the urge to roll back over and go to sleep, though. A few hours after that, I wake up again and immediately spot an envelope on the floor. It must be something that came in the mail while I was away. That's Shizune's and Misha's department, so I wonder if they dropped it off by to give it to me, or maybe someone filled it for them in their absence and told Kenji to pass it along. We already know what this letter is. When I pick it up, any remnants of sleepiness in me instantly vanish. Even if the name of the sender wasn't on it, I would have known whom it was from by looking at the envelope itself, realizing why it's so familiar, by recognizing the delicate handwriting addressing on it. It's from Wanako. At first, I can't believe it, but it wouldn't be too hard for her to track me down if she wanted to. Of course, I hadn't thought that she would want to. She was maybe my girlfriend for all of 5 seconds. After that, we barely spoke to each other. It would be too easy to put this letter away somewhere and forget about it. A part of me wants to do that, or throw it away, unread. Why would I want to do these things? I don't know. It would be easy to do them. Easier than to read it. Slitting the envelope open with the top of a pen, I'm surprised by the length of the letter that spills out. Dear Hisao, how are you? I hope you are well and happy at your new school. Everyone here misses you. Almost all of our second-year class got put together in Class 3-1 for the final year, so we are pretty comfortable right from the beginning of the year. I'm sure you would have been assigned to this class as well. The mood amongst the third years seems to be very anxious about the final exams, even though they are so far away. The teachers are badgering us about it all the time. Even old Mr. Takibana, who is, by the way, I don't know why I put so much emphasis. That's the only time we're ever going to see that besides other playthroughs, which I'll forget. Our homeroom teacher this year. Would you believe it? I was sure that he'd retire after our second year, but here he is nagging everyone about studying for exams. I think things like that are the main reason why the mood among the third years is so nervous. I must admit that I'm somehow losing confidence in myself as well, even though I've always fared reasonably well in exams. Small talk makes me feel nostalgic. It's almost like in the hospital again. Every now and then Awanako would drop by and give me the gist of what was going on in the class that even then I had an inkling that I would never return to. It's so weird to think that we are already seniors, isn't it? Time has really flown past. I wonder where it went. The new first years seem so young and somehow really innocent. I keep wondering if I was like them in my first year. I've been feeling nostalgic like this for the whole first trimester. There are other things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt that there are things I should have said after the incident back in the winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to become more distant and disheartened. Okay, whatever. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure, but somehow I got the feeling that you'd given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I'm really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most, even though I like you so much. At least now, finally, I can be more honest. What a convenient time for her to rediscover her sincerity. Well, even as I think that I know she's right, distant and disheartened is a good way to describe it, and maybe I had given up too. It weighs on my heart when I think back to when I was lying in the hospital feeling so bitter that when she finally stopped showing up. I wasn't surprised. I had no right to be. How could she not stop coming when it was